Trump's New World Order has become real and Europe is having to adjust fast. Downtown Munich is best known for chic shops and flashy fast cars, but right now its streets are bedecked with posters advertising next-generation drones. Europe's security under construction boasts the slogan on an eye-catching set of sleek black and white photographs, festooned across a scaffolding-clad church on one of this town's best-known pedestrian boulevards. Such an unapologetic public display of military muscle would have been unimaginable here just a few years ago, but the world outside Germany is changing fast, and taking this country with it. The southern region of Bavaria has become Germany's leading defense technology hub, focusing on AI, drones and aerospace. People here, like most other Europeans, say they feel increasingly squeezed between an expansionist Russia and an economically aggressive China to the east, and an increasingly unpredictable, former best pal, the United States, to the west. According to a recent Eurobarometer poll, more than two-thirds of Europeans 68 feel their country is under threat. This autumn, Germany's Federal Office of Civil Protection and Disaster Assistance warned for the first time since the Cold War that war is no longer unlikely. While emphasizing that this is a safe country, it also recommends that Germans keep food supplies to last 3 to 10 days at home. Just in case. Germany is the #1 single donor of military and other aid to Ukraine, now that the US has halted any new direct aid. Opinion polls suggest voters here want to feel better protected at home too. The question for this country, along with others in Europe, is whether traditional alliances with the US, in NATO and the EU can suffice, or whether they should be diversifying into ad hoc coalitions alongside other like-minded nations such as Australia, South Korea, and Japan. By 2029, the German defense budget will be higher than the UK and French equivalents combined, NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte pointed out to me. He described the $150 billion they say they will spend on defense as a staggering amount. It's something the United States notices and appreciates, he said. Donald Trump is far from the first US president to insist that Europe do more for its own security, though his tone has been noticeably more threatening than that of his predecessors. The precarious state of transatlantic relations was the main focus of the Munich Security Conference (MSC) this weekend. It's the world's biggest annual defense meeting, bringing leaders, security experts, and defense industries together. While it's easy to dismiss speech-heavy get-togethers like this as wind-baggy talking shops, in the turbulent times we live in, they can make a difference, especially the informal private huddles between global decision-makers, far away from the glare of the cameras. The most eagerly and for some the most anxiously anticipated speech at this year's conference was that of the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who represented the Trump administration here. European leaders and top diplomats were seriously on the edge of their seats. But why was a simple 30-minute address given so much importance? It's because Europe-US relations have never been so frayed as they are now, over the last 80 years since World War II. And this isn't a bust-up between buddies that will easily blow over. In the just over 12 months since Trump returned to the White House, he has at times insulted and undermined European leaders, slapped big tariffs on their exports, and most shockingly of all to his allies in NATO, threatened Danish sovereignty over its territory, Greenland, refusing for a while to rule out taking the island by force. Speaking at the MSC on Saturday, Denmark's still clearly furious Prime Minister, Mette Frederiksen, said Trump's designs on Greenland remained the same despite ongoing trilateral talks between representatives of Greenland, the US and Denmark. Trump has ruled out taking Greenland by military force for now, and he's backed away for the moment, at least from slapping economic sanctions on allies, including the UK, France and Germany, that were getting in the way of the US acquiring the Arctic island. But transatlantic trust was severely damaged. European powers see in Trump a truly transactional president who thinks nothing of leveraging security or economic relations with his closest allies to get what he wants. Just before being re-elected president, for example, he told Europeans that the US would not protect nations that didn't pay their way on defense. It is true, though, that Europe has been coasting on America's security blanket for decades. Critics in the US argue that European nations have been able to run generous welfare states for decades while Washington picked up the tab for security spending. Germany's defense minister, Boris Pistorius, told me on Saturday we got used to the strong support from the US, we got used to our comfort zone in which we used to live. This time is over, definitely over, he said. Washington was right. But the crisis over Greenland and other actions by the Trump administration, such as when it temporarily paused intelligence sharing with Ukrainian forces last March, leaving them blind on the battlefield, in order to pressure Kyiv into engaging in peace talks with Moscow, have left deep scars and a troubling sense of transatlantic wariness. Hence the trepidation in Munich before Rubio took the stage. In the end, H.